Nevada-tan, or Nevada-chan, is the popular name for Natsumi Tsuji, a Japanese girl born on November 12, 1992, who studied at a school in Sasebo in Nagasaki, Japan, where she was also born. For a long time, her real name was not used to talk about this case, but as she is of age today and it is speculated that she changed it anyway, we are going to be using it. The events that lead us to tell this story unfold in 2004 when Natsumi was only 11 years old. Before all this happened, Natsumi was known for her enthusiasm for sports, the internet, movies, and for being an excellent student who got the highest grades. It is said, although I really haven't seen a 100% reliable source to confirm it, that the girl had taken an IQ test which indicated that her intelligence was very high, almost 140 points. She also enjoyed playing sports, particularly basketball. She looked like a happy and normal girl on the outside. Clearly no one thought something like this could happen, but Natsumi had some secrets and had started to enjoy violence. It started with simply watching movies not suitable for her age. She discovered the world of extreme violence, or gore, by watching the Japanese movie Battle Royale. The story of that movie talks about a society a few years in the future where unemployment reaches high levels. That is, there are millions of people without jobs. With this, the country in that movie is on the verge of collapse and the schools show the same, while the students become increasingly violent. It is then that the Japanese government creates the Battle Royale program, with which each year a class is chosen at random to face off on an abandoned island in a cruel survival game. The rules of the game are simple. It lasts 3 days. Each player starts with provisions, water, and a weapon. If more than one player survives, they all die. And the last one is that there is no escape. It's basically the Hunger Games, but much more graphic. After discovering this taste for bloody and disturbing things, Natsumi uploaded her own horror page on the internet with flash animations and violent stories. At the same time, she used this as a personal diary where she narrated her day-to-day thoughts. This young woman soon began to become famous in the world of gore lovers. All of this, of course, from the anonymity of the internet. Her page, in fact, was very successful in that genre. She wrote things like these on her profile. Date of birth, November 21st, 1992. Blood type, Orof, Coco, AN, Scorpio. Violent personality, lover of sweets. Hobby, having a nap pillow. Hairstyle, medium length. I want it much longer. I like black and white. Strawberries, Kushi, Basaki. Hey Maida, pacifist. I don't like selfishness, father. Also around those years, she wrote the following. Towards the dream of the future. My dream is to become a manga artist. But if I paint badly, it's also Ichigo's mother's fault. That's why I want to keep studying. Now I have to write correctly on the computer, but I don't have many things like watercolors and similar stuff. Also, to create a production would take me 1 or 2 hours, but I will do my best. What I'm gonna say next is a bit of an internet myth. We don't really know what happened. But one day, her schoolmate and best friend, Satomi Mitarai, who was 12 years old, told her in a fight that she was more popular than her. Then Satomi, still angry from this fight, posted on the internet that Natsumi was fat. Natsumi then slowly began to fall apart. She left the basketball team by order of her mother to prioritize her studies. After rejoining, she left again of her own accord, and her grades began to drop. During that time, Nevada-tan often played on a site with an animation called Akai Haya, or the Red Room, which she says was about a boy who was stabbed to death. In other words, it was another bloody story. But in addition, the Red Room is known as an internet legend. That legend comes precisely from the flash animated game that Natsumi was playing. The story of this game and legend is as follows. It's about a pop-up ad on the computer and a Japanese teenager. He learns about this ad on the internet that supposedly leads to death. And as he's a horror fanatic, when he gets home, he starts actively searching for this supposedly deadly pop-up, but he can't find anything about it. Just as he's about to give up, a small red window pops up on the corner of the screen. The ad is very simple, with a red background and plain black text that is, it's like it's handwritten and very messy. It only contained the following question: do you like it? Apparently, when the teenager closed the pop-up ad, it reappeared. This legend is quite old, so by that time this teenager was a technology expert, so he tried to use his antivirus, but it indicated that his computer had nothing wrong. So he tried to close the ad again, but it reappeared in the same way as before. He tried everything, turning off the computer, unplugging it, absolutely everything possible, but the pop-up window wouldn't go away despite efforts. Frustrated, he decides to close the ad repeatedly until it disappears. After doing that several times, he begins to realize that the ad is not the same. It seems that little by little, it is revealing more letters as he tries to close it over and over again. That's how the window goes from saying you like to you like him. And little by little, it is indicating more and more letters until the word red appears. Finally asking, do you like the red room? Apparently, it was discovered that this teenager committed suicide the next day and the police found his walls covered in blood. That is then the legend of the red room that circulates on the internet. But what made Nevada-tan so well known was not the only instance of violence. One day she threatened a classmate with a knife, and for several days she exhibited quite aggressive behavior. A month after this first incident, on June 1st, 2004, a photo was taken in the schoolyard, which is one of the most well-known on the internet. In it, Natsumi appears a few meters from Satomi, her best friend, while the two form the letter B with their fingers. This image, taken a few hours before the crime, is the last photo of Satomi alive. That day, later, Natsumi took her friend Satomi to an empty classroom where she blindfolded her, saying it was just a game. She then took a cutter and slit her throat. The girl was left agonizing, lying on the classroom floor where she bled out within minutes. Then Natsumi walked to her classroom and entered with her clothes full of blood, to the surprise of everyone present. The teacher was clearly shocked and immediately sprang into action to find the girl's body until finally finding it and reporting the incident to the police. Natsumi descended the stairs as several students noticed her and started taking pictures. Those photographs were seized by the police, but they inspired many followers to recreate them. Hence the photo I showed you at the beginning. From that moment comes the most well-known image, in which she is depicted covered in her friend's blood, smiling, looking at the camera, dressed in a skirt, white sneakers, and a gray sweatshirt with the word Nevada on the chest, inside whose pocket you can still see the red cutter full of blood. Since then, she was known as Nevada-tan or Nevada-chan, which in Japanese means the snowy girl. The tan is used because it is a more childlike way of saying chan. On the other hand, the sweatshirt that said Nevada came from a university, precisely the University of Nevada, where it became one of the best-selling items. While in Japan, people would cosplay as Nevada-tan, in the United States they dressed up as her because they found it somewhat amusing. When the police arrived, Natsumi confessed her crime and showed remorse. She said, "I've done something wrong, haven't I?" She repeatedly apologized, saying, "I'm sorry," as they arrested her, according to reports. Japanese laws prohibited her real name from being published, as she was a minor at the time accused of a serious crime. At that time, they referred to her only as Chika-a. And the most disturbing part of this story was that an 11-year-old girl could do such a thing. After a trial that turned into a circus, more than anything for the victim's family, she was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to 9 years in prison at the Sasebo Penitentiary. In fact, today, we wouldn't know her name if it weren't for an on-air accident. One night, a TV Fuji news anchor was covering the case and with it some drawings that the girl had made. Due to an oversight, the girl's name that she herself had put on those papers, Natsumi Tsuji, was revealed in the drawings. This is how her true identity became known worldwide, although her fans, yes, fans, continued to refer to her as Nevada-tan. Upon entering prison, Natsumi was visited by several psychologists, child specialists, and criminal psychiatrists who sought the reason why this girl could behave in such a way. However, they all concluded that she was a perfectly healthy girl without any type of mental disorder. But this was only a symptom and did not explain the girl's behavior in its entirety. The most shocking part of the case is that she gained a lot of fame on the internet. I'm talking about fans like the previous case, cosplays, people following her, people idolizing her, drawings, dolls, games, animations, songs. There was a band that named themselves Nevada-tan after her. There was everything regarding this girl. And in fact, to this day, you can find Instagrams, Twitters referring to her as if she were a great murderer. And in fact, they weren't even right because she actually regretted it. She didn't know what she was doing, and it is estimated that part of what happened was because she was a bit obsessed with this whole idea of gore and what she was seeing on the internet because, according to some sites, some sources, she had Asperger's syndrome. And with that came precisely the obsession with these topics. It's not that a person with Asperger's would like this violence, but she had sought this out and had specifically become obsessed with that topic. Once she realized what she had really done, she couldn't stop saying she was sorry. And as I said before, Wai doesn't seem to have any problem that could lead her to antisocial behavior in this way. Beyond that and the fact that she was truly sorry, internet people still used her as a murderer, to write pastas, to post drawings on the internet about her, recreating what she did. And as I said before, a German rock group named themselves Nevada Tan, and also the band called Fecal Matter, Discorporated, dedicated an album to her and all the little Japanese girls who kill people. Today, Nevada Tan is about 28 years old and is free from jail. It is said she changed her name to avoid being found. She got married, but that's as far as the story goes. Tell me what you think about this case. Do you know anything more about the explanation of Asperger's syndrome? Do you have any idea if this is really possible? Could he become obsessed with that? And if you have anything to add in general, please leave it down in the comments as I am reading them. And without further ado, here are my Patreons and channel members. Thank you for supporting me through those platforms. Here's a new video, here's a recommended video. You can subscribe by clicking on my face and see you in another video. Goodbye.